Could we start with how everyone is? Because there was a lot of players being kicked on Monday and a lot of whacks, and I was wondering if anybody was struggling after Monday.
No, I don't think so. I think everyone's pretty good. Obviously, we were without Breezy, so that is what it is. But I think everyone else is pretty much available. Oh, Stewie Armstrong. Well done. Gilly's just reminded me. He's concussed, so he will be out of tomorrow. He took a really big whack to the head from Luongo in the second half, and then played on for a little bit and then wasn't feeling great. He was a bit groggy, so he's had to be assessed and follow the protocol and procedures that follow that. So we hope to have him back by Tuesday, but he needs to pass his tests and his examinations before them with the docs. So yeah, Stewie will miss tomorrow. Sorry, I nearly missed that because I haven't really seen him this week. Bless him, he's been in, coming in, doing his assessment, and then leaving. So yeah, we'll keep monitoring him and assessing him, but he's okay. He was just very groggy, and so we have to follow the protocol. So he'll be out of tomorrow, and then hopefully be back involved Tuesday.
You've said a couple of times that people have written you off, and Monday won't have helped that assessment. But how do you, especially after a game like Monday, how have you been trying to cut out the outside noise and keep the guys focused on the task at hand?
In the same way, I think we always do. I don't think we ever listen to what is being said externally. In the same way, when we were 25 games unbeaten, we didn't listen to all of that. So I was really bullish and felt really protective of the players on Monday because I thought the performance was so good. And then I had to calm Yanni B down on the pitch because there's someone in the crowd screaming at the players to go in and do all that stuff. And our fans have been incredible. And there was only one guy, and a couple of them had noticed it and were upset by it because they didn't deserve that with the way that they played. We didn't deserve the result with the way that we played. So that, and then the emotion in the dressing room after, then you feel all of that. So then I wanted to come out and protect the players because it was a really good performance. And then the energy in the room where you do the press conference, and then you're speaking with Sky and they're asking me about Jason when all I want to do is talk about the game. So when you put all of that together, there was a reason why afterwards I feel frustrated and upset, and it's only because of the care for our team. So then you carry that care into this week, and more than ever I feel protective of our players and what they're doing, because they're doing some amazing things. And we went there for 70 odd minutes, was so good, and we should have scored 4 goals. And Ipswich are a very, very good team. So it's also not being disrespectful to them at all. Kieran's a brilliant coach. They're a really good team. But I felt we were better on the night, and after watching it back twice, I still feel that. And I think the stats would back that up as well, and all the data and all that stuff. But just on feeling, that's how I felt, and it's how I still feel. And the players did some amazing things. They're also aware of, I think, why we didn't win the game and we didn't get something from it. And I think if we can sort those couple of bits out that probably separate us and Ipswich at the moment, then I think it's going to be a really brilliant end to the season and a really exciting one. And I feel like we have such a good opportunity to achieve what we want to achieve still. I'm not going to allow that negativity to seep into the players and to the staff here. We're not, as a group of coaching staff, because we watch them grow, we watch what they do, we watch how they train, we see the players, we speak to them, we see them more than anyone else, and we have an appreciation of what they are doing and what they have done, and how difficult it is as well, because I've been there. So they've been fantastic. They need to keep doing what they're doing. So in terms of blocking out the noise, it's been no problem. We work really hard, and we understand what's really important to help us in the next 8 games, and then we'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, I mean there is no benefit to being negative anyway. But
there's also not a huge benefit to being overly positive all the time as well. And I don't. Let's not mix that up. We're not in here going, "Oh lads, it's brilliant. We've lost, so it's going to hurt," and we're all annoyed and we're all frustrated and we're all feeling it. So there's not this like loop of positivity all the time as well. It's not that. So we're really honest with the players, but also like there's not a huge amount to be negative about. We lost the game. We drew against Middlesbrough and we lost against Ipswich. My feeling is, and watching the games back and looking at all the data that backs up, we should win both games, but we don't. We get 1 point out of them. That's football. That's life. So we're not going to be in it going, but we played really well and just. But there is some stuff. If we keep doing some of the stuff we are doing, it's going to be really exciting. It's going to be we can do what we wanted to achieve at the start of the season. So that is still there for us, and it is going to be there for us until the very end if we really want it. And then, of course, there's some bits we need to really improve on. That's the process, and that's how we work, and nothing but complete honesty with them for that. So we don't come in and be overly negative because there's so much good stuff, but we have to feel the stuff that hasn't worked out and what's hurt us. Is the same with any game. But also not going to be in here saying, it's all good and we lost, it hurts, we're winners, we're in here for the same reason we want to win. And now we have to just keep focusing on the work and feeling everything together and make sure we come through it all together.
You said there's a couple of bits to work on and the players are realistic. 2 late goals against you have cost you points over Easter. You were doing that in the autumn, winning late games. Ipswich have got a heck of a habit of doing it. So you talked about the clean sheet before, or certainly reducing the goal count, another 3. So how does that change? How do you get those goals against down?
We've, in terms of chances given up, we've not given away any more really than we were on the run that we were on. I showed the guys in the 4 games that we've lost since that run, the amount of chances we've had, the amount of chances the opposition had, heavily outweighed in our favour, and we haven't won. So we need to sort out both boxes basically, and that's not tactical, it's not technical, it's about heart and desire and mentality and mindset. I think we're all really clear on what's needed. I think the players understand. I think we have a really clear feeling of what's needed. So we've had some really brilliant conversations, some deep conversations this week, honest conversations. And I think everyone knows it's really clear now what's expected. And if you're going to be on a pitch and you're going to play what's expected, and if we don't carry it out, this is football, right? It's the same in my job. If I don't do my job, I get sacked. And with the players, if they don't do their job, they don't play. So I think it's really, really clear. And I think we have an environment full of love and care for the players, but also there needs to be really demanding. So if we haven't been quite right in both boxes for the mentality, that's my fault. It's my job to make sure we sort that out.
Blackburn, I keep thinking sod's law. You lose to Ipswich and they win their first game for 11, and you're going to go to Ewood Park with him desperate for his first home win. So, how do you see them as a team? Because obviously Sammy Smodic has been ridiculous this season, and he keeps staying above Armour. How do you view them as a side and tackling them?
Yeah, I really like them in the same way I did when they came to our place. They play good football. They're very young, athletic, good energy. I think they're well capable of results like they had on Saturday. I thought they were outstanding, having watched that back. But they've had a few really brilliant performances that haven't quite translated into results. They played really well against Ipswich the week before. We watched that on the TV, and I felt they could have definitely got a result there, and they didn't. So I'm sure John's been feeling very frustrated because they're doing some really, really good things, and he's a really good guy. So I think they had a really good manager in John Dale Thomason, who's gone. They've replaced him with a really good manager. Greg Broughton is someone me and Gilly know from Norwich, is very intelligent and good person and understands what he's doing. And it's a club with a plan, and they're just going through a bit of pain early on in terms of what they're trying to build. But I think they're doing some really good stuff. So it will be, and as you said, they'll be desperate to get the manager's first home win. So it'll be a tough game on the back of their result. And obviously people look at it on the back of ours as well. But we went to Ipswich. We were the team we want to be. So brave, so aggressive for so long, and if we do that more often than not, we'll be more than okay. And that's the challenge. That's the challenge, is to be the team we want to be wherever we go. And it's another challenge on Saturday, and it's a really, really exciting one.
Just finally, I know it annoyed you on Monday night, but it's now Friday, and you talk about having a plan. There's disruption with Jason Wilcox. Has that messed anything up, or has it kept it away from the squad and everything and what's going on? And obviously he brought you to the club, so it'd be disappointing to you to know that this is going on.
Yeah, so I think, being brutally honest, the one person it affects the most is me. So and my coaching staff, because he brought us here. So has it affected the players? I don't think so. Jason's a great guy. We work really closely together. I obviously had the most conversation with him here. But I don't think it's affected the way we work. I don't think it's affected the results. I don't think it's affected any of that, the process of what we embarking on. But of course, it's like, he's a really good person. You never want to see good people walk out, especially when you spent some time building a relationship. But I've got nothing positive to say with Jason. There's still, I think there's lots going on. It's not been clarified yet what is happening, because obviously Phil and the ownership group here have a job to protect our club as much as we can, and Manchester United have a job to try and get the guy that they want. So listen, I think if it ends up happening and Jason goes, he goes with nothing but good wishes from myself and probably everyone in here, because he's played such a huge part in changing the culture of the club and the feeling around the training ground. What he does, he's enabled us and myself to be the leaders we want to be and the coaches we want to be, and been so supportive, and hopefully he felt we did a good job for him. So if he ends up going, which, let's be honest, looks likely at this point, but I think there's still lots to do legally and all that stuff between the clubs. But if he ends up going, honestly, I wish him nothing but the best. It's Man United. He's moved here. He lives up there. So I've got nothing but positive things to say about Jason. I'm sure our relationship will continue beyond this. That's all I have to say on it, really. He's a good guy, and we'll see what happens.
Thank you. Alfie, Digital Harrison, just to follow on very briefly from that, because I was going to mention the fact that you've spoken openly, you're very grateful about him bringing you here. He spoke to me about the fact that you were his appointment. I just wondered where that left you as a manager. Does it leave you feeling a little bit vulnerable? Or do you need a line for the next plan?
No, not really. It'll be what it'll be, won't it? It's like our work as a coaching staff will speak for itself. Then obviously we will have discussions, and I've spoke to the ownership group on what potentially comes next, if it all happens, what my feelings are on everything. But they will do what they want to do with their club, and if they continue to involve me how they have done recently, then amazing. If they don't, it's completely their call. The owners have been fantastic with me, so they backed Jason in bringing me in. So we have a really good relationship. It's never been that I just deal with Jason. I've always spoke to the ownership group as well. So I'm really comfortable with that. And also, this is the most vulnerable and precarious job in the world, pretty much as it is anyway. So, if you don't have an awareness of that, even with Jason sitting in the building, then it's crazy. So, no, you have to wake up and accept that every single day. And I don't have the fear I have is not completing the job that I want to do with these players and seeing them grow and keep watching them grow and all that stuff. The same as every club I've been at, is not the fear of getting sacked or someone coming in, all this stuff. It's just the biggest fear I have is not achieving what I want to achieve in the way that I want to do it. We'll have to wait and see. I couldn't give you an honest answer about how does it, but in terms of day to day, does it impact me hugely? No, I just not dealing with a guy that we have a lot of conversation with in the football. We're still talking a lot, and he's still so supportive. Obviously, just in a different way at the moment.
I know you've spoken a million times about Adam Armstrong, but he's scored in 4 games in a row now. I think if he does it in 5, it'll be the first time in his career. He wasn't nominated for the Championship Player of the Year, but I think when it comes to the club, he'll certainly be one of the favourites. I'm writing a little bit about him today, just to speak a little bit about him and how he's become the player he is right now.
Yeah, he's been brilliant, and most of it playing out of position, really. So, worked so hard for the team. Technically, he's a fantastic player, both feet. Some of the stuff he does, really clever player. But I just think he has a desire to score, desire to run to goal. The team functions better with him in it, and he just contributes hugely. So he's a proper, old school professional. You know exactly what you're going to get all the time from Adam. He's reliable. You trust him. The players trust him. I'm just really pleased he's given himself a platform to really show what he can do after a frustrating start to life here. And I've been really delighted with him, and he scored some fantastic goals. But it's not just the goals that he brings; it's everything else. He's obviously assisted a lot as well. So individually, his numbers have been great. His performances have been great. But what he brings for the team is the most important thing. And I love working with him. We have a really great relationship with him, and I think it's been nice to to see him smile more and more as the season's gone on, because he didn't smile very much when he first came in. So, but he's demanding. He's demanding of himself. He's demanding of us, and I think he's a really good balance.
I'm sure he doesn't care in the slightest, but do you think he's a bit unlucky not to be named as one of the nominees? And what
I don't know who the nominees are. I don't know. I think if you're a player and you're worried about getting nominated for that stuff, then you're probably your priorities are probably a little bit wrong. So, would he be in my nominations? Yeah, of course. To be 20 goals already at this stage of the season, playing out of position for a lot of it, all the stuff he brings. But I don't know who votes for this stuff. I don't know how many games they actually watch. So really, it's quite arbitrary, isn't it? You know, like the manager of the year is a really easy one. Give it to the guy who wins the league, or to the guy with the lowest budget who really outperforms it. It's not difficult. And with the players, I presume Sammy Smodic is in it because he's had an amazing season. Who? Yeah, so three really good players, and yeah, I'm sure Armour, if he really thought about it, might be a bit annoying not to be in there, but I also think he could not care less for the character that he is, and if the team achieves what they want to achieve, he'll be more than happy.
What's the one thing that you perhaps demand from him to still improve, or something that he can still work on?
I think every player has a lot they can work on, in the same way that us as coaches have a lot that we can work on. I think he has good self-awareness around that, so when we have conversations, I think he knows what we feel he can improve on. So I'm not sure it's fair for me to come out here and publicly say that and then people start looking for that. Yeah. But I think the beautiful thing about this group is I think we have a group of players that can really keep improving. There's no one at there, I don't think, at their ceiling yet, and if there is, we'll try and mix it up and maybe give them other stuff that they can do. So Armour's played number 8 this year, number 7, number 9, number 11. He showed a lot of strings to his bow, and I think if you can keep doing that and be flexible, then it only helps. So I think there's still more to come from him.
Just to move on to Carl Peters, because Adam Armstrong's goals have come in those 4 games since he came out of the team. You sort of joked with us that he was fuming about it, but he's come back in and had a really good reaction. Do you think you've seen that same sort of hunger and bite from Kyle in training this week? Yeah,
so Carl hadn't played for like 5 or 6 weeks, and then played on Friday and looked incredibly tired at the end of the game. It's the only reason he didn't play on Monday, really, because then to ask him to go again against the league's most productive left-sided player, I think Carl understood that as well. His level of intensity wasn't quite there on Friday, defensively especially, because probably fatigue. So, and we looked at it before the game and said, do we rest him and wait for the Ipswich one, because he's been such an important player. So the decision was made after Friday, the same way in any of the other guys did. You know, a couple of players come out of the team. It wasn't just Kyle, but his reaction to come out of the team has been fantastic. Trained like a beast, and Kyle needs to live there all the time. And when he does, he's one of the best players I've ever worked with. But also, if he wasn't there on Friday, it's my fault. So if he wasn't ready, if he wasn't where he's used to being, and after 5 weeks off is not always easy. So it's not a criticism of his performance. It was looking at what the team needs, and if he can't quite sustain that level for 90 minutes on a Friday, I'm not sure he can go and do that on a Monday at Ipswich away when he's been out for quite a while. So he will respond, and when he comes back in the team at some point, he'll be fantastic.
It's quite easy to say in hindsight that maybe you could have managed that workload differently, but you're trying to win the game on Friday first and foremost before you come to Monday.
There was no thought of let's rest a few players for Monday. Every game is the most important one. So Friday was the most important one, and then Monday became the most important one. So now tomorrow against Blackburn is the most important one. So yeah, I don't think we're in a position now where we're looking at it and going, we need to manage this and do that. It's what do we feel is the best team to win this game? This is the most important game, because same way as today is the most important training session. Honestly, they've trained so well in the days after Ipswich. It's been incredible, and they need to maintain that level.
Just finally for me, there's another stat going around about Gavin Bazunu, which is the same as last season, which I think is a little bit harsh because the goals prevented stat, and obviously it's harsh in my opinion because high expected goals doesn't necessarily mean it's the goalkeeper's fault. But you have said that he could have done better with some of them. What's the conversation been with Gavin this week? Is he still confident and ready to go tomorrow?
Yeah, so I think I said Gav will be frustrated with any goal he concedes, but one or two of the goals on Monday he's frustrated with because he holds himself to such high standards. So he's a brilliant and intense young man, and his intensity is incredible, and he beats himself up a lot when he feels he's not quite at his best. So we need to help him through this period. It's that simple. If we're going to get the goalkeeper that we've had in so many games this season, and we think he can be, for such a young man to play as many games as he has as a goalkeeper, to play for his country, to do what he does with the ball at his feet, incredible. Takes a mentality, a big mentality. And so he has to get through this period. It's really simple. Every player has a tough period. That stat, I don't really understand it, so I couldn't give you anything on that really. But speak to Dean, speak to the other goalie, speak to Gavin. There's been numerous games. He's been outstanding for us this season. And when we were on that run, everyone talking about how good he's been. Players have dips. Sometimes it happens. So, but I've got no doubt he'll get through it because of the young man he is, and it will define the same way as any of the players, the same way as us as coaches. It will define him as a player in his career. Now he gets through the tough moments, and I've got no doubt about him that he'll respond in the right way.
So can I just ask you about Jack Stephens and Flynn Down's relationship on the pitch? Because it feels like since Jack's been shuffling across, it's allowed Flynn to maybe be free to go a bit further forward. Do you feel like that frees him up to be more impactful going forward as well?
Yeah, I hope so. I think they enjoy playing together, and we did a lot of work on it during the international breaks. They were still here when the others were away. They have great understanding. They complement each other well. Jack's not always going to go and step in there, but when he does, I think it does 100% free Flynn up a bit to be a bit more aggressive and to go and show us what he's got going forward. So, yeah, and also look, sometimes Flynn will stay and Jack can get into the box. Been numerous occasions in the games he's done it where he's looked really dangerous in the opposition final third. Jack, 'cause he's an outstanding footballer. So I really like it. It won't, as I said, it won't be all the time depending on opposition we're playing. But when they have done it, they've done it brilliantly. And actually, I like it. I really enjoy it, and it excites me that what they can be capable of if we have a chance to work in it more. The game suits that. So yeah, I think it's been really good, and I think Flynn enjoys it. I think Jack's enjoying it. I think hopefully people are seeing what a brilliant footballer Jack is now, because he was outstanding on Monday night. If they didn't know that before, they definitely know that now. Yeah, the game might not call for that tomorrow. It might do at some point. But if they can continue doing it in the way they've been doing it, then that'll be fantastic. It's our job to help them improve even more and keep building their understanding and why we are doing it. But I think whoever Flynn plays with in there, I think they have an understanding of how good Flynn is and what he can do. And Flynn is not a selfish player. He enables other people a lot and looks around a lot and understands what the team needs and makes the right decision a lot. So I thought Flynn was incredible on Monday night, and a lot of that maybe was down to Jack being in there and helping him and giving us a number in there. And Flynn, like a few of the boys, I don't think Flynn deserved to be on the losing team at his old club. I thought it was an incredible performance from him, and I generally think he's one of the best in the league. He's a Premier League player, Flynn.